Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Agora, Singapore. Yay! We have a very exciting program for you this evening. Before we start, I want to tell you what Agora Singapore is all about. Agora Singapore, number one, is a community of friends helping friends succeed. We are all volunteers. We do not pay anyone any fee. So we just come, we help each other. And how do we do that? Number one is we share, we exchange information, idea, knowledge, whatever that we have learned. And then we encourage each other, because in life, we face many challenges, difficulties, setbacks that saps our energy. So we need to encourage each other. Each time we fall, we find a way to come out again and continue the journey together. Now, my personal objective or vision for everyone is for us to live the life we dream of. And what is the life we all dream of? We share very common dreams, although we do not talk very much about it. We want to be healthy and strong to be able to do the many things we want to do. We want to have friends to talk to go out with, to share ideas and exchange ideas. What else do we want? We want to have money. We want to have money because it gives us option. Whether you want to travel to Singapore or travel to anywhere in the world or eat anything or buy any stuff, we need money. So all of us are here to help each other to fulfill this dream that we shall live the life we dream of. Now, tonight we start a special journey to prepare for the speech contest 2023. Why should we take part in the speech contest? Is there a benefit? I will leave someone else to share with us on this one. And the program, we have 5 people who are going to present their prepared speeches. And we have a very special gentleman who will conduct a workshop to tell us about the mindset, the mental attitude, and the benefits of participating in a speech contest. And of course, we need someone who has been a chief judge for Agora speech contest to share with us what do judges do? How do judges rank the contestant, whether first place, second place, or third place, for example. And of course, we have a number of us are quite veteran in speech contests. So I've invited one veteran to share with us my learning experience as a contestant. What do we benefit? What do we learn? Right? Why should we take part in the contest? So that's the program. We'll start with the first speech. The first speech will be presented by Mr. Stanley Mark from Singapore. Mr. Mark, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself, to tell us about you, to tell us about the topic, why should we listen to you, and why are you a suitable person to speak on this topic. So 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then you have 7 minutes to present your speech proper. Are you able to time yourself, Mr. Mark?
No, I won't be able to.
Okay,
but I'll do a recording first, Mr. Gear.
Okay,
so,
let me.
Yeah, I'm a co-host. I can record it.
Yeah, let me see whether I can.
Yeah, I can record it.
Okay, let me see whether I can help you with the timing, like so on.
Okay. Oh, don't
Okay,
worry.
I do not have. I think
It's okay. I'll time it myself.
you time yourself,
Okay.
yeah?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Mr. Stanley Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Gear. It is a very surprising delight of mine to attend this particular session. I didn't know that it was a sort of international forum. I thought it was just one of those usual stuff that we attend at Agora Singapore. I was a founding member of Agora Singapore, and I have passion for learning how to improve myself when it comes to speaking, public speaking. As my profession, I run a digital marketing company to help companies grow their business. I've been in the business for more than 15 years in Singapore, covering primarily companies in the region. The reason why I'm passionate about another thing that I've been doing for the past 5 years, it is the fact that I realize that a lot of people don't really want to deal with one particular issue. And that particular issue is what we call life planning. And I have been serving my church for the past 4 to 5 years, believe it or not, as someone in charge of funeral services. So I've been doing that without making any money because I feel that a lot of people really go through a lot of problems in handling this kind of issues. That's the reason why I volunteer to be one of those people who are really committed to helping other people go through the last stage of their lives. And that's why today I'm going to talk about something similar to what I've been doing. What I'd like to do, I'm going to share with you my PowerPoint, okay? Give me a second, I need to pull out the presentation. Give me a second, I need to refresh my screen. Okay, this is the topic of today. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I did one presentation on life planning, and that was considered as what we call the life planning 1, and this is life planning 2. As a matter of fact, when we look at life, last time when we were talking about life planning 1, a lot of people feel that I did not create enough or provide any specific information. And then there's, okay, the feedback that I've got was that life planning was not really specifically detailed. Now what I'd like to do with a sort of context of Singapore, I prepared this particular presentation to give you my perspective. Now, this is normally the kind of life planning that we normally do, the first phase. And when we were young, when we were born, you know, our parents will decide on what we should do in terms of primary and secondary education. Once we reach the university level, then we will take over. We take decisions on what subjects, what university that we go to. After we have graduated from the university, then we start our own career. We choose the career that we want to do in the Singapore context. Now, this is something very unique to Singapore. Anyone who wants to get married has to book a public housing board flat with his or her future spouse before they get married. And that has to be done 2, 3 years, 4 years in advance. So this is again planning. Once they have got married and got their flat, then they start a family. They plan to have how many kids that they want and so forth. And then continue with the career until they retire. And that is a typical life plan in Singapore. I'm sure those who are Singaporeans will be able to understand what this is all about. However, life planning too is different. You know, we are talking about the really second stage of our life. Have we done have we designated lasting power attorney when we are sick? We are not in a sort of sensible situation to make decisions. Have we found someone that we trust to make decisions on your behalf, or make financial or healthcare decisions when you are really sick, even make funeral or burial arrangements? We know that one day we will leave this world, but a lot of people, especially in Singapore, where Chinese are the major population in Singapore, they don't want to talk about this particular phase of life. And most importantly is to communicate your end of life wishes to your loved ones. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. Chinese never want to talk about it. You know, as a result, it becomes a sort of burden. You know, there will be a lot of problems of no life planning. If you don't plan, these are the problems that you'll come across. Healthcare problems. When you don't have any advanced medical directives left behind, then when you are really sick, nobody can really deal with this situation. They don't know how to handle that. And legal problems from time to time, how to allocate your financial assets among your next generation members and so forth. There will be a lot of delay and argument in these kind of areas. Financial problems, you know, because of the fact that no matter how you look at it, how to allocate your financial resources, how to really handle even the funeral services in Singapore. Funeral services are not cheap either. I think the last part is the most important, is emotional problems. We all know that when a family member of ours is leaving this world, it is tremendously full of trouble for us, okay? So as a result, it is important for us to have our last wishes to be known. And now let's take a look at this. This is something that we have seen. When you look at this, this is like the kind of environment where you will spend the rest of your time in this world, okay? And this is the kind of private condo in the Singapore context. If you're a Christian, this is the kind of environment. However, if you want to stay in the public housing kind of environment, this is the kind of environment that you'll get in Singapore. And as a matter of fact, this is the kind of situation in my opinion, this is probably the best gift to yourself in your life. A lot of friends of mine, they accumulate a lot of wealth for the next generation, but they never think of themselves. Sacrifices are what they are going to make throughout their lives, but they never think of themselves, or to some extent, or for your loved ones. I must share with you this kind of practice that I did. I did it for my parents long before they're passing. I had already bought the places where they're staying in now. It was so good that we didn't really go to any problems at all when we were handling their passing. So as a result, we feel that this kind of planning is called love planning. You plan ahead so that you can provide peace of mind to your loved ones and help them carry out your wishes. And this is very important. It's not life planning alone, it's love planning. You show your love. And I believe that Mr. Gee Mamping and myself, we have formed a sort of team to handle this for our friends who need some help. With that, I'd like to thank you for the time that you have shared with us. Okay, thank you. Mr. Gee, all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. Thank you. It is, in fact, a very important issue to be discussed. I see my friend Amiga Fabiana. How are you? Where are you from? I want to speak a Spanish word, bienvenidas. Did I say it correctly, Fabiana? Okay, I cannot hear you, but let us move on. Thank you, Mr. Mark, for speaking on a topic that I feel is really, really important, that is very much neglected by many people, and the families suffer a lot because of that. I would invite Coach Syed to share with us, based on your observation, what do you like about this presentation, and how would you do it differently if you were to present such a speech?
Yeah, good afternoon to all of you. Yeah, I think the gentleman was, he has prepared well, and he's quite calm, composed in his delivery. And also he almost maintained his time of 7 minutes. While the presentation, I felt when it ended, it got ended a little bit abruptly, I felt. Maybe something could have added there to sum it up. Other than that, I think it went smooth.
Okay. Thank you, Syed.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have a very young man from India who has to prepare for an exam tomorrow. So he requested to speak first after Mr. Mark, then he can go and study, prepare for his exam. Ishan, are you ready, Ishan? Ishan. Okay, if not, then we will invite the next speaker. Next speaker is Dr. Saravanan. Doctor, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself. You are in a little bit of a dark place.
Yes, because I am traveling and because I'm in the vehicle now, so there's not much of a light, but bear with me, I may look like a Shrek in the background.
No,
And
maybe we get Dr. Halima to speak first.
okay, I will reach home in about 10 minutes, I think.
Okay, we
So
get
Halima
Dr.
could speak. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Halima, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself with regard to your speech topic, and then you got 7 minutes to present your speech. And Dr. Halima is going to speak on killer confusion. Killer confusion. Welcome, Dr. Halima Sadia.
Thank you, Benteng. Thank you, everyone. Hi. So first of all, I am Dr. Halima Sadia. Most of you know me. And why you should listen to me? Because I am here for my own practice. So you all have to listen to me and you all have to evaluate me and tell me that where I have to improve. So that's the reason why you should all listen to me. Yes. So here I go. Since last 3 years, we couldn't meet Raju. Where was he? And we were so close in our college time. Famous 5. It was like famous when we were in the college. Yes, somebody told me that Raju is married to a British girl and he's working in MNC. Yes, that's really great to know, because a boy from a village of West Bengal reaching to this height is really great. Then immediately we Googled and find out his current location, and next hour, ping, bong, ding, dong, we are at the flat of Raju. The door opens. Hello, Raju. The life is full of surprises and we are here to surprise you. The laughter like a college, boys and girls. And Raju was shocked, surprised. Suddenly we saw a sweet girl, a white, a girl whose rose, pink like rose, and whose hair was brown like brownie, and whose skin was white as snow. She just appeared, but suddenly ran away to the kitchen, and thud, a big sound. And when Raju went to the kitchen, she fainted. Now hurry up, ambulance, hospital, emergency. We were shocked. What happened suddenly? I looked at David and Mike and Ben Peng. Are we looking like ghosts? No, no, we are human beings. And we are quite good looking. Then why she fainted? We were unable to understand. Then Raju told us after, when the doctors were attending the girl, Raju told us that, my dear friends, why you all did so? What did we do? We just came to your house, we got big laughter and surprise. And that's what we Indian do. No, we don't inform anybody before coming. Do you know something? What? She is suffering with SAD. What is this SAD? She's sad? Then you make her happy. Why don't you try to make her happy? Oh my God, SAD is not sad. SAD is social anxiety disorder. Is it some disease? Yes, of course. I have never heard such word in my entire life. SAD. Okay, then you should know about this. There are different causes of social anxiety disorder. And my dear friends, I know that some of us must be eager to know that what exactly SAD is. SAD is when the people are scared of other human beings. They don't want to meet them. They don't want to interact with them. They don't want to socialize with them. And there are many reasons of this. There are many causes of this. Sometimes it is because of the brain structure, because in our brain, we have amygdala that is responsible for the fear factor. And when it is hyperactive, then naturally we are fear of the human being. And at times it is because of the heredity, at times it is because of the environment, at times it is because of the past experiences. Like if sometimes we are bullied in our childhood or we are abused in our childhood, that makes us socially disordered person. And there are many complications because of that. You know, the person who is suffering with SAD has low self-esteem. He is unable to be assertive and he normally have negative self-talks. Quite often he says that I can't do it. I'm not capable of doing this. Then his performance in the academics or the employment is low. And then at times they intend to go to the substance abuses and drinking alcohols. And then their social skills are very poor. They love to be isolated. They don't want to interact with someone. And finally, they have suicidal tendencies. They lose interest in living. They lose interest. I was really shocked to listen all these things about SAD. Then I was very much eager to know that what is the prevention, how we can help the people. Yes, of course, it is not something that cannot be cured. It is curable. If you are if you are suffering with SAD, then the best thing is that early recognition. Let's recognize it that, yes, I am suffering with this. Let's not be in ignorance. And then we have to take help. We have to have a journal and write down that when I was scared, when I was afraid of meeting the people, when I was not able to even meet face to face the person. And that journal is going to help us that what is the frequency of our disorder. And then we have to prioritize our life, that what is important in our life, who are the people who are very important, and without meeting them, we cannot do the thing. And then we have to avoid substance uses and try to be happy, try to be doing the things that makes us happy and makes us positive in life. If we do these preventive measures, then it is quite possible that we will be overcoming the problem, the SAD problem. But if the person who is in your family and the person is suffering with that, then naturally there are different measures how we can help those people who are suffering with this. So we were in the hospital, we were learning about SAD. The doctor came and said that she is out of danger. Now you can meet. Then everybody rushed and said, can we go and meet her? Then doctor said, one by one, because she is sad. She is suffering with social anxiety disorder and only one can meet at a time. Raju went inside to meet her wife, and then we all were feeling so embarrassed and guilty that why we did so. because of our ignorance. So my dear friends, I decided that nobody should be ignorant of this fact that is called SAD. Let's try to help the people. And if somebody is not willing to meet us, let's try to understand. We should not say that the person is antisocial, the person is bad, the person has ego, the person is arrogant, the person is so this, and that. Let's try to understand and have sympathy with them and try to help them out. I hope my message is clear to you all. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Halima. This is something new in terms of structure and presentation. I didn't know it's diagnosed as social disorder, social anxiety disorder. I know there are people who has all kinds of problems, but I didn't know it's called this one. Okay, we are ready. No, okay. Ish, thank you. Would someone maybe Brian give some feedback to Dr. Halima?
Yes, sure. I could give feedback, Dr. Halima. First, I thought the topic you talk about is really important, especially the call to help other people with such a disorder. Because when I think about it, when I think about my use, I think I may even have the same symptoms and challenges that you have described. So I thought that was very timely and very important that we address this issue now, because of, especially in the last 3 years, because of COVID, a lot of people work from home like myself, or have fewer and fewer parties and gatherings and opportunity to meet other people. And I thought that's good to have this topic addressed. But I thought that your slides was very well made. At the same time, it was a little bit of a little bit flashy, and you have a lot of words in there that you didn't actually explain to us. So that may be something that you think of. I thought this topic and the material you have prepared may be suited for a longer workshop rather than a 5 to 7 minutes of speech, because everything happens so quickly that I kind of couldn't really follow every slide that you talk about and every concept you talk about. And also that it seems that the talk is very clinical rather than just a person, an example, a case that could be convincing to us. So that these are my feedback. I thought that was a very important topic. At the same time, it may not be suited for a 5 to 7 minute talk. And I wish you well, and hope next time we could have a real case study and about how your method and how your organization and that can help people with SAD, and how are you going to do that, and what kind of specific help that need from us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very valid suggestion given.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Very, very penetrating, I would say. It go right into the issue. Okay, I want to have one more speech because Ishan needs to go and prepare for his exam, and he has requested, please let him speak first. So Ishan, are you ready? Are you
Yes,
ready?
I'm ready.
Are you able to time yourself 5 to 7 minutes?
Yes, I will set my.
Time yourself, yeah. You have 1 minute to introduce yourself and 7 minutes to present your speech. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's welcome Ishan Ahmed from India. Gender inequality. Yeah. Wait. I think his internet got cut off. Ishan is a very young man. I think he's in secondary school, maybe about 15 years old. And he's very earnest, very serious about presenting his speech. Here we are.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Am I audible, sir?
you are. You are.
Ever had they have one friend justice for discrimination increase their own gender. A very happy good evening one and all present here. Myself is Shan Ahmed. I'm a student of class 8 from India. In today's evening, I am going to speak about a very important topic. This is gender discrimination. Are you thinking about this? What is gender discrimination? Gender discrimination is one. They are unfair rights between man and female. It differs because of their gender role, which ultimately leads to unequal treatment in life. Gender discrimination has been around for many centuries. However, as we are evolving, it is time to do away with such nations of gender discrimination. My dear listeners, now I'm going to share a story. Please listen carefully. Rima was a woman from Borga village. In their village, girls were not allowed to admit into school. Sima was very opposed this. Sima was thinking what I have to do. Sima and her sister is so eager to read, so eager to study, and they study in a school where in which school only had a boys. But after school, Rima gathered her village girls and taught them what she learned at studies in school. She must oppose this. And also in their village, girls had to speak with men within a bamboo screen. She must oppose this very much. And Sima complete this. And Sima give a very powerful speech in Assam Sahitya Sabha. She is so opposed, and finally in their village girls were to admit into school. My dear listeners, we all are equal. Not boys, no girls. We all equal. We all have to write to start read. We all have to write. We all have to write to study in any school. So my dear listeners, we have to read. We have to gender equality. My dear friends, now we will see. So gender is some facts. Gender inequality. The facts. Number one in five girls of married before turning 18. Number two, 1 in 4 girls is out of secondary school. Number three, over 800 women and girls die in childbirth every day. Number four, the total number of women and girls subjected to harmful practices like female genital mutilation and child marriage is still growing. Number five, the total number of women with an unmet need for contraception is still growing. Number six, half of growing in low mid income countries have no decision making power over their own bodies. So what are the main problems with gender inequality? In the society, there are several problems due to gender inequality. These are people who discriminate against women. Number one, attitude or way of thinking of those who maintain that man is by nature superior to women. Violence, to be abused, disrespect, insult a person, woman. Femicides, murder of women due to their status as women. How it affects in children? Gender stereotypes affect children's sense of self from a young age. But two, boys receive 8 times more attention in the classroom than girls. Number three, girls receive 11% less pocket money than boys. Number four, children classify jobs and activities as specific to boys or girls. What's the impact in an adult? Victorian women earn at 7% to every dollar earned by men. Although more women than men complete tertiary education, their graduate salaries are lower. Number 3, 1 in every 2 mothers experiences discriminations during pregnancy, on parental leave, or when returning to work. Number 4, Victorian women do nearly twice as much unpaid work as men. What is the impact? How is the impact in a older people? Women retired with half the superannuation savings of men. This affects women's financial security, health, and well-being. Number 3, more older women are at risk of homelessness than men. How we can do gender equality? First of all, rights to an adequate standard of living, rights to liberty and security of the person, freedom of movement, participation in public life, rights to work, family life, just and favorable condition of work, reasonable working hours, rights to water and sanitation, rights to freedom from violence, rights to equal protections, non-discrimination, rights to education protections for the child, rights to health life, right to food and nutrition. My dear listeners, gender discrimination must be checked at every step so that no person should be denied a chance to learn and grow. Thus, everyone, no matter male or female, must get a start in life in terms of education and other opportunities. We must come together as a society to do this and must be stop this. So let's come on, my dear listeners. We stop this, make the society, make a better life. Thank you.
Great job, Ishan. Great job. I'm very impressed. I will ask Mike Nicholson. Mike, are you here?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Give some feedback to our young friend Ishan.
Ishan, what a great speech. What a great passion you put into that topic. That was really good. It was also very well researched. I thought the PowerPoints you showed, were quite extensive, a lot of information in them. Some of them were a little bit busy, so be careful, that you don't just flash them on the screen, but let people actually spend some time. And that's one of the problems you don't have in a 5 to 7 minute speech. You don't have time for the audience to go wander around your garden of slides. So make the slides simple. The one you have had a lot of detail, I would love to go read it at a leisurely pace, is the one with all the circles. There's a lot of information there. And each sub-sphere really needed some thinking, but that was another topic. So that was good, well presented. You are very enthusiastic in your style, presentation style. Well, one of the problems you have is the fact that you live in India. You need to practice your English dictation, your speaking. You're speaking like an Indian speaking English, which is what you are. I'm not complaining, but it can be a little bit difficult to hear, to listen to, if you are not used to it. So slow down a little bit. I think some of the problem I had with hearing what you were saying was you were going at quite a fast pace. You know your topic very well, and you were delivering it forthrightly. And I'm a bit stupid and a little bit of time lag, speech lag. So try and slow down a little bit. Present the slides in a little bit more simplistic way. Make it easy for people to understand what you're telling them in the time that you have available for them to actually go read the slides. So don't try and do too much, which is what we all like to do. We want to get all of our information onto the PowerPoint. So do not try and put my shoe size into your space. Yeah, I'm a 45 size and you're probably about 36 or something. Yeah, don't try and cram my foot into your shoe is what I'm saying. Yeah, design the foot to fit the shoe. So don't try and do too much, but really good. Yeah, I mean, you will become a really great speaker because you are very enthusiastic. You are popping up all over the place, and that's really good. I think the first time we met was as you were a contestant in the Agora Con in August of last year. Yeah, so yeah, you're persistent, and that's really what's important in public speaking. Just keep doing it. This is a learning by doing activity. Yeah, public speaking you have to do to really learn. You can understand a lot, you can learn a lot by listening, watching other people, but we really learn more physically preparing your speech, practicing your speech, delivering your speech. And you're doing all of those things really well. So keep up the formula. It's really good. And good luck tomorrow with your exams. So part of Agora is the training you get here helps you in the rest of your life. Yeah, so the things that we're talking about and training, you can use in everyday situations. The other thing that is something I should have mentioned at the beginning, you have a halo. And I know it's not deliberate, but there is sometimes difficult. I mean, now I can see your face, now I cannot. Yeah, because the light is too strong. Try and play with the lighting around you before you deliver your presentation. Yeah, this is a good picture now. Yeah, but when you move your head and the light behind you comes forward, it destroys your face. So spend a bit of time making sure the environment you're speaking from is conducive. But anyway, these are things that you can do and will do in the future. So well done, Ishan. I wish you luck tomorrow and thank you for putting the time together to make this presentation for us so that we could learn something new. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Next, we come to a very special presentation. All of us, whether you want to have the trophy or not, you must be a champion speaker. Whether you want to talk about love planning, wealth planning, you want to speak like a champion, where people will understand you, people will believe you, and people will do what you ask them to do. It's the same whether you are a coach, you are educationalist, or you are a lawyer. You want to be able to speak. You want to be able to speak such that people believe you, people trust you. It makes sense, it's logical, and they will adopt your proposal. That's why I want all of you to take part in the 2023 speech contest. And to help us prepare, I've invited a very special gentleman. He is a lawyer by training. He is a newspaper columnist who has written, I don't know, thousands of articles by now. And published in newspaper. Yeah, it's not just writing in your little notebook. He has written and published several books as well. He won many accolades as a public speaker in the international arena and as well as its local arena in Malaysia. He has spoken in different parts of the world. He is a leader in many places, including NGOs. So this is a very accomplishment, and he has conducted training and workshops for many years, and he's very sought after. And today we are very privileged that he agreed to share with us very important thing on a speech contest. with special focus on the mental attitude of a winner, the mindset of a champion, and the benefits of participating in the speech contest. Let us put our hands together to welcome Dunstan Chan.
Can you hear me?
Can
you hear me?
can.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everybody. I mean, it's a long time since I kind of attend the Agora meeting, but anyway, it's nice to be back again. And as Ban Peng has famously introduced me a bit over the top, but I'm happy to accept whatever compliment people give to me. Yes, I have been involved in public speaking for a long time because I was called to the bar. I mean, I was a barrister in England nearly, how long was that? Almost 50 years ago, right? And when I retired, I come back to Malaysia, and for the last 30 years, I've been involved in a lot of public speaking situations, right? So I like to share with you something which I've learned on the way, but it need not necessarily be the complete volume on public speaking, but I just share with you my experience. So before that, I will just kind of share screen. And here we are. Can you see this? Hello?
Not yet. Yeah,
You can see now?
we can see.
And now where is this thing for the... anybody can help me? I can't see the...
You,
Yeah, I'm looking for the slideshow.
you may need to double click slide 1.
Yeah, I think so. That's
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, you can see
Okay.
that?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Let's start very quickly. I will cover as much as I can, but I know there are quite a number of speakers after this who have experienced as contestants as well as judges, so they will be able to cover some of the gaps which I've missed out. What I'm going to concentrate on, because firstly in Agora, I think you have a number of different type of contests, right? You have the social awareness, you have the educational, you have humorous, there's something else I can't remember. And each one of these contests, of course, has its own criteria and rules and things like that. So I'm not going to cover that, but some of the people in the audience I can see have been judges in some of these contests, so which means they can share maybe later on with you what do the judges look for in a particular type of speech, a particular contest. So what I'm going to concentrate on is more on the speaker itself, all right, the mindset of a speaker, right, as a contestant. In this case, as a contestant, it's slightly different. All right, so I entitle it as kind of, so you want to be a champ, right? You want to be a champion. That's great. And firstly, I have a caveat, a kind of what do you call this? A warning, so to speak, that what I share with you is one way, my way of looking at things. And there is a saying that there are more than one way to skin a cat, so which means there will be many other people who have different opinions. Mine is just one of it, right, which I share with you. And what I'm going to cover will be something along this line. I am going to cover about the mindset of a contestant and the different types of contests you enter, and the message which you're going to bring across in your contest speech, and the 3 important things which I will talk about, and then about drafting the speech, how do you draft the speech. Then very importantly is how to deal with nerves, all right? And my own experience with nerves, looking at the impact of nerves has been quite frightening sometimes. Then it's showtime, how to manage your nerves. So let's move very quickly. Concept of the mindset. What I believe should be the mindset of a contestant is this. The first one is this. You cannot win a contest unless you really want to win badly. That's number one. You cannot win a contest unless you really want to win badly. The reason why I said this is I've been involved in a lot of organization dealing with speech contests. Some people say, yeah, I joined the contest because the organizers kind of persuaded me. Actually, I'm not really crazy about it. And so they already prepared the defeatist attitude. Right? So if you have that attitude towards a contest, the chances of you winning is of course less, because you just, in your mind, you have already made up your mind that you are just making up the number. So I have come across, I've taken parts in contests from Malaysia level up to world level, and I met many people along the way. And everyone who moved up the ladder to the final in the world contest is that one thing you can see, they really want to win. They never have in mind that is, oh, I'm just coming up here just to take part. So these are the people who are going to win. And I've been involved in public in kind of contests for about nearly 30 years, I think. And I've met a lot of champions. All of them, I know they really want to win. Right? And so that is the first thing, the mindset you need to have. You want to take part in a contest, and if you want to win, you really must be one of those who really want to win. That's for sure. And that is the first thing you need to have, right? And there's no pretense that you're joining it just for the sake of speaking. And those people who have that mindset most likely wouldn't win. They just make up the number. I'm addressing you now as a potential winner, the mindset of a winner. The second thing is this. If you want to win, you really want to win, are you prepared to pay the price? What do I mean by that? I know I've gone through this. I went up to the stage and all these things. Sometimes, many times I lost. I mean, I didn't get first. It is heartbreaking. I don't pretend it. Yeah? I pretend not to smile, but actually I was crying inside. So if you want to take part in contest and to win, you must be prepared to pay the price. You must be prepared to have your heart broken. That is the hallmark of for excellence. There's no choice, you know. And I remember one year I took part, and I thought I did so well, you know, and I was convinced that I was the winner. I got second, right? And of course, I have to put on a brave face and go out there and all this kind, congratulate the winner. But I was crying inside, you know. I was really crying. But one thing good about it is, I went back to the room that evening and I wrote a speech. This was in the year 2000, I think. I wrote a speech. And that speech, which I used the next year, won. And we're taking part in Hong Kong. I remember it's a huge conference. There were about 800 people there. And so you see, I was really wanting to win. My heart was broken, but I picked myself up and I wrote a speech 1 year before the next year's contest, and I won. Wow, that was fantastic, right? So that's the second mindset you have. You must be prepared to pay the price. The third one is this. When you are at the stage where they introduce all the finalists, right? Usually there are 9 of us, I think. And you look around, and something you have to accept is this. None of the people who are standing on the stage together with you got there by accident. Now, that is a very significant statement to make, you know. When you look around, each one of them has the same mindset as you. They want to win. They're prepared to have their heart broken. And they work, you know, like mad to get to that stage. So they didn't get there by accident. Yeah. So this is something which you have to accept. We are talking about contest here. We're not talking about just going on stage and say something. You know? So that is the mindset, I think, of a champion, is that first, you must really want to win. Second, you know that there is a price to pay if you do not win. And thirdly, you know that the people whom you compete against at the highest level, they didn't get there by chance. Right? They work the way up. So that's what I'm trying to share with you, right? That to be a contestant. But later on, you say, why should we put ourselves through this torture? I'll deal with that later on. Now, in Agora, and I don't know if Bamping can help me, I think you have at least 4 types of contests, isn't it? There is the educational, there is the social awareness, there's humorous. Is there another one?
Yes.
A
there is
storytelling or something like that?
storytelling, yes.
Yes, yes. And if you look at it, each one of them, you see, you cannot use the speech in social awareness in the other type because each one of them has its own criteria. And the judges are being briefed. The judges, if you appoint the judges, you know, we look for a particular kind of things. There is a guideline for the judges. I have not seen the guideline for the judges for Agora, but I expect you must have one, isn't it, Bampeng? You must have that kind of, when you appoint a judge, you must have given them
Judges
some
briefing.
Yeah, briefing. And some of them, some other organization, they have this thing called ballot paper, where they actually write down the suggested score for each particular criteria section of the speech, right? So the judges have studied that. So if you want, my advice, therefore, if you want to take part in any speech contest, you have to get hold of that so that you know what they're looking for. You cannot shoot blind, you know? You say, oh yeah, I have a funny speech. And then you give it in the educational section, right? Which may not have that much score. So those of you guys who want to take part in speech contest, once you make up your mind which particular one, go and study the judge's briefing. And so that you understand what the judges are looking for. And I understand later on some of the members who have been judges before may say something about the particular type of contest which they have judged before, right? So they can get some tips from that. Now we come to the thing. So I'm going to deal with only generally, not on specific type of contest, generally as a contestant, as a contestant speaker, right? The most important thing, of course, is your message. In every criteria, you have a kind of core message. What you need, therefore, is you must believe in your own message. You must believe. There's no such thing as faking it. You have to feel very strongly about a particular thing. And it will come across when you speak. You know, if you really feel this is very important, like just now, was the young man who spoke about gender equality. He believes in it. If he doesn't believe in it, he'll come across it. He believes in it. So he just have to improve on his technique when speaking, but he believes in that particular. So it's the same with you. When you enter a contest, the whatever contest you enter, you must believe in it's the message we want. It must be from your heart, all right? And I know many of you may have attended quite a lot of public speaking or workshop and all these things. They talk about the body language, vocal variety, and all these kind of things. But I believe that your commitment to your message will somehow transfer into your performance. Just like somebody say, if you want somebody want to say to you like, I love you, all right, and they don't believe it, you say, I love you, all right? So those genuinely who loves you, and when they say I love you, is the way they say it to come across. You know? So that the essence of your belief will naturally express itself in your performance. So my point is this: don't go up there and fake it. I mean, I know I'm a bit purist in that. I don't like people faking something, you know. But unless, of course. Right? We're talking about two different things here. If you see actors are very good speakers on screen, right? Now, you have to understand, actors has gone through a lot of training that they're able to fake it, you know, that they even can make you cry and they themselves cry, but actually they are laughing inside. But those are professional, they're trained. I have the work with actors, and my daughter also is in film and all that. The training is very, very detailed. I give you one example. In some of the films, you may come across some actors that delivered fantastic speech. I think one of the one which kind of stuck in my mind is a speech by Al Pacino. It's a movie called On a Given Sunday, I think, about where he gave a motivational speech to his team who was losing at halftime, and the speech was full of passion and fantastic. I was listening to it and say, wow, if this guy is going to deliver this speech in a contest, he will win. All right. But later on, in another occasion, I saw him out receiving some award, and he was supposed to thank it, and he was lousy. You know, he was terrible. I was saying, my God. You see, the reason is just the one which he showed in the movie was a rehearsed speech, and they are professional. They're being trained to do that, right? So that is something which I feel that for us, we are not professional in that sense. So we have to come, it has to come from our heart. It is natural. And that is something which I feel very strongly about. Now we come to the question is this. How do you communicate this belief in the depth, from the depth of your heart to the audience, you know? And that's what makes it different, you know, between the winners and the so-called runner-up is this, because they are able to bring it across, you know, the intensity of their speech from their voice, body language, stage presence, and all that kind of thing, right? And that you can attend a kind of, I mean, we run quite a lot of workshops about public speaking and all these things, how to use your voice and things like that. But this is not the time, but generally you have to have that. No. But for speech contest, I would say this. Now, let me sidetrack here. Do people recognize this picture? It's from a movie called Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins, in that movie, she has a song called "A Spoonful of Sugar make the medicine goes down." Right? So she is saying that she gave them some sugar or honey, and then they take the medicine. So it's in a way, as a contestant speaker, as a contest speaker, you are also doing pretty much the same thing. You try to give them some spoonful of sugar so that your message can come across. And what's that sugar? In my case, I will share with you, this is my belief, all right, is this. There are only three things I always talk about, right? The content of your speech. Number one, you want to talk about something which challenge their mind, so that the audience say, yeah, you know, that's true. You know, it challenged their mind. So choose the topic, choose a message which challenge their mind. Just now, the young man was talking about gender equality. It challenged our mind. Yeah? So then we are interested, right? The second one here, depends on which one it is. The one with the bone is called tickle the funny bones. Introduce a bit of humor. I don't mean comedy kind of a ha 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 thing, but a bit of humor. So lighten the whole thing. So that's part of the spoonful of sugar. Make it easier for people to accept your message because there is a bit of humor. Finally, touch the heart. You have to speak so that they feel it. So these three very simple things which I share with you. Choose a topic which challenge the mind. Deliver it in such a way that they feel it. It touches their heart. At the same time, don't be so heavy all the time, you know, things like that, all this message. You can throw in a bit of humor. These elements can help you to bring across your message. Right? So challenge your mind, tickle the funny bones, and touch the heart. And each one of them, of course, can be a workshop in itself. That it takes time, you know, like how do you touch their heart? How do you use word, your voice, everything? how do you deliver humorous points, you lace your heavy point with some humor things. That one you can do it separately in the workshop, but these are the key elements which you should have. All right. And so now we come to the stuff itself, drafting the speech. And again, this is a full half-day workshop. Drafting the speech is very thing, but I will just cover it this way. In terms of drafting the speech, I noticed that somebody is going to talk about later on about the introduction of your speech, how you finish the structure of a speech, right? You got to draft that, but I don't have time to deal with it. But I would just say this: if a speech if your contest is about 5 to 7 minutes, I don't know how many minutes you have to speak, right? 8 to 10 or 5 to 7 and all this thing, you have to understand what is your speaking rate. For Asian, generally speaking, our speaking rate is around about 100 words a minute. 100 words a minute. I know the Americans speak much faster. They can go up to 150 words a minute. But generally speaking, we tend to speak about 100 words a minute. Right? So if you are taking part in a contest which is 5 to 7 minutes, 7 minutes is the cut off, right? Really, you don't want to draft a 1,000-word speech, isn't it? Because you'll be so panicking in terms of finish your thing, so you tend to rush, right? And ideally, I think you should hit it round about. For me, I would hit it round about 600 or 500. Yeah, there's a reason for that. The reason is this: when you speak, all right. Oh wait, where am I? When you speak, if let's say my speaking rate is 100 words per minute, a 7-minute speech is 700 words. That doesn't allow you the time for the pause. Pause is very powerful. I remember years ago when I was taking part, and I took part in, I was in the world champion in America, and I met some of this guy who eventually won the championship. And he was telling me, he was saying that what he did was he took the recording of all the previous winners and he timed them, right? And he timed the pause. And I was surprised. He said, yeah, time the pause. And he was surprised. He was also shocked, Though the speeches, 7-minute speech, they were around about 2.5 minutes of silence. I said, yeah, really? He said, yeah, just listen. You see, so as a speaker, sometimes you are in so much of a hurry, you're trying to say something that you didn't realize that pause is very telling. And the winners, if you listen to them, they use the pause. So when you draft your speech, remember, your speak, I said, most likely is 100 words a minute. If you include the pause and all this thing, I don't have time here, but usually when we do this practice, I want you guys to try it yourself. You go and look for a speech. Well, there are many speeches. One speech you can look for is the speech by Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of Britain during the Second World War. And one of the most memorable speeches he made was called, "This is the finest hour." Supposed to be so powerful that it moves the whole nation. This is the finest hour. And listen to it and how he used the pause. I think the speech was only about a few hundred words, but he used the pause. And that particular sentence, this is the finest hour. This is the finest hour. What he said is, this pause was the finest hour. He said, this is the finest hour. You see, it's the use of the pause. So you got to practice that, right? And I'm talking about serious thing here. So pause is important. Let's move on. Okay, this guy, what's he doing? Now, I know some of you many of you may be taking part in speech contests. So the first thing, I've already mentioned this, is that you have to get into the mind of the judges. What are they looking for? What they're looking for is dependent on the type of contest you are entering and the briefing they have been given. And some of you who have sat as judges before can attest to this, that you, I mean, I really hate it if somebody is being appointed as a judge and didn't take his or her job seriously. I mean, that's not fair, right? Because you should take it seriously. So you study the briefing given to you and you judge it according to that. So try to understand what the judges are looking for in that particular criteria of the contest, right? And here I just finish off with this one, is this. After you've drafted your speech, all right, now this is in advanced speech drafting. There is different stages. Some of you are very good speakers, you know, I think you do that. You draft your speech and you get it the right number of words and all this thing. For those who are serious about doing kind of contest speech, there is a stage which we go through called marking. I don't know whether you heard of this. It's called marking. What you do is you got your text and then you mark the words. First, you choose the word which you want to stress. The word they are not the same, you know, because some words you punch them, right? So you mark those words, then you mark the pause area. You have to mark your text, and then you practice on that, right? And that is something which you can do. And this particular one, I brought it in. I mean, you cannot read it. I think it is a newspaper report about more than 10 years ago, is it? Yeah, 20 years ago, I think. And it's quite funny, actually. And the reason why I put it in is funny. This is a report in Philippines. In Philippines, in the year 2005, I mean, karaoke was a rage at that time. And the Filipinos are very good singers, you know, so karaoke's. And I find it's funny that in Manila and then in the other city called Cebu City, a couple of people were killed in a karaoke thing. Now, one is this, and the guy singing was so bad that the audience booed him, all right? And he got angry and took a gun out and he shot the people who kind of booed him. And the second one was, the guy was it was in Cebu City, the guy was sang so badly that one of the audience couldn't take it and took out a knife and stabbed him, right? Why I'm saying this, the funny thing is that the song was the song called My Way. Now, some of you may know this song, the Frank Sinatra song, I Did It My Way, all right? My Way was a song. It was a very well written song and everything was correct. And it goes to prove that you can have the best draft speech, all right? You can have the best written speech. It has to be delivered. You have to be, voice it. No matter how good your draft is, you have to deliver it. So the Chinese are quite, I don't know, some of you may know who are Chinese educated, all right? The Chinese term for public speaking is called 演讲. And those of you who know 演讲. The Chinese understood this. He said that when you speak, a good speaker, 演 is to act, 讲 is to speak. So it's not just a question of going there and say something. You have to act it out. If you look at, that's why they will talk the idea of body language and all stage presence and all these things comes in. You have to act and you have to speak. So you are entering a contest. You better act and speak, and better learn how to act and speak. And now this one, somebody is going to deal with it, I think. So when you deliver your speech, the first few seconds, of course, is very important, right? Because the poor judge may be having to sit there and listen to about 10 speeches. And then if you're going to say that, today I'm going to talk about the sky and the blue, the thing, blah, 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 the fellow is going to fall. So you have to go shock them into listening so that they will say, okay, I will stay awake for the next few minutes because this guy is good. So we call it the attention grab. And I think somebody may be talking about this, all right? And then you come to the end. Another thing about the end is this: always prepare your conclusion, because sometimes you're so caught up and then you say, oh my God, I forgot to say that. So you have to have the last bit so that you leave your message in your mind. So the beginning, first 10, 20 seconds, you make them, I want to listen to this speech. This sounds interesting, all right? So this is called the attention grab. The ending is that, wow, such a long speech, but I know the main points are this. It leaves that thing. Right? So that's what you need to do. And this one, some people say, not important title. Title is very important. Title is very important because you are being judged from the time the MC announcing, So your title, you have to choose a title which is catching. So the MC or the contest chair, whatever you call it, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Gay Banteng, and his title of the speech is How to Be a Millionaire in 2 weeks. Wow, title, something like that. The title is part of the thing which story. Right? And what else is there? Finally, you get this, how long is long? That is, of course, depend on your contest. They will tell you, all right, exactly how it is. And as I said, if you can time yourself, and usually it's kind of 100 words a minute, so you prepare within that parameter, then you are not flustered, right? Otherwise, you'll be worried that you cannot do it. Power of pause, I've done that. One thing I want to kind of share with you guys is this: as you take part in speech contests, I don't know, in Agora, you start from the bottom, from the club, you go up area, whatever it is. By the time, and it gets tougher as you go up, right?
You're muted, Danson. You're muted. You need to unmute yourself. I think you pressed the wrong button. Now you're muted. You are still muted. You're okay
Can
now.
you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. If you are in very supportive environment like Agora, there will be very many people who would want to help you and will offer you advice, and they act as your coach and mentor, and that is good. The problem is sometimes you get very confused, right? And sometimes the people who try to mentor you or coach you, they may just inject their own bias towards it, and you get confused, right? So this is one of the challenges you face. Is this? I think for me, the challenge is you got to learn to know who to ignore, right? And who to listen to. It's a reality. I'm sure you may have those of you who take part in contests, you will see that there are people who are willing to give you some advice, but you have to judge, all right? And that is a tough one. But don't tell them, no, I don't believe what you're saying, but just keep quiet. But you learn how to judge which is what, all right? Okay. And where am I now? So talk about the preparation. Now, are you ready? Huh? And now this is something which I would say for sure. You be telling a lie if you say that you're not scared. Now, at the moment, our contest is online, isn't it? I mean, you're kind of using video, so it's a bit easier. But in real life contests, I have seen myself. Luckily, it happened to me. I have seen many times, even at world level, people blank out. It's a real thing. And this one person, I won't mention his name, but he is from our part of the world. And this was about 1990 something. And he won our district, that's been our area, our region here. And he was really good, he is now very good. He's a professional. He is very good. And at that time, I was the district governor, they call it, right? And I was saying this guy is good. He has a good chance in the world contest, all right. And we even give him $1,000 US. Those days we were very rich, so they have to take part. We fly over to America and all this kind of thing. And I will have so much hope for him. And he went there. It was in August, and then he came back and no news, right? So one day I ran into him. I was running a workshop in KL. I ran into him. I said, "Hey, so and so." I said, how was his experience? And he didn't say a single word about his experience, to anybody. Come back, and then he looked at me sheepishly, and then he said, "Well, I went blank." He said, right? He said he went up on the stage when they announced his name, and he repeated his title, the "Ladies and Gentlemen," 5 times, and he just could not remember what he was supposed to say. And here is somebody whom we sent all the way from Malaysia to I don't know, I think it was Los Angeles or somewhere, and he said, "I have to walk down." So this is and he was a very good speaker, right? So I say it can happen to us. So this is something real. So how do you deal with it? Sometimes there are some tips I can share with you. All right. This is called nerves. All right. And firstly, you have to recognize nerves. Nerves is natural to all of us. All right. It is part of some of you may have come across this term called the fight or flight syndrome, right? So some of us public speaking, standing on the stage with 1,000 people staring at you, expecting you to say something profound and impressive, can be really like a challenging situation. So your body is trying to react with excess adrenaline and all this. So you have to, in the old days when doing our ancestors' time, they're face to face with this saber-toothed tiger or whatever you call it, and they have a choice. Either they run, right, or they fight. But they run and fight faster, better, run better, fight better, right? But that is the excess adrenaline in him. So when you are faced with public speaking, standing on the stage, I'm telling you, I've gone through that before. For a while, you really feel numb, and so that is a possibility, and it happens to the best of us, right? It happens. So I have some suggestion, which not foolproof, but I have 3 methods of control the nerves. All right, you don't want to get rid of the nerves. You want a bit of nerves. You want to be really, but you don't want to be super cool. You're super cool. You don't care. All right. So you want that energy. You want that nervous, but you want to control it. And these are the 3 methods I talked about. All right. So the first one is relaxation and energy release, right? Because you're really tense. You have too much energy building up in you. One is very simple. You just breathing exercise, right? Just breathe in, hold for how many seconds? Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, right? So you just do that, right? Before you go on the stage or at the back of the stage. The second one is physical exercise. This is something which people do. You do this, they call it isometric exercise, where you kind of pull your hand like this and you stretch, you do that kind of thing, so that your body moves a bit, you see, so that you release the energy. Finally, the actors do this a lot. They call vocal exercise. They try the words la la. You just release. The reason is this: if you go on stage, you find that sometimes your own voice, the sound of your voice, the first time you hear it, it can shock you, because you can say, "Ladies and gentlemen," you didn't realize you speak. So you do something, singers and all this. So these are the 3 you can do: breathing exercise, physical exercise, and vocal exercise. You do that and do it out of the sight of the audience, somewhere at the back of the stage, right? Otherwise they think you're a bit weird. And the second one is mental rehearsal, right? Mental rehearsal, you hear a lot about this. This is called visualization. So one of the things people always say about is this, they always suggest to us, is that think ahead, all right? Visualize yourself standing there with standing ovation, and people rap, and enthralled by your voice. So you visualize yourself, as a champion, that's one way. But my suggestion is this: do two. One is think of the past. The other one is think of the future. All right. Now, think of the past is just sit there or just stand there as you're getting up to be your turn. Think of past success, not necessarily public speaking. Huh? You can even think of the time when you caught a big fish. So your mind is filled with that happiness. Yeah? And the reason is this: happiness and sadness cannot occupy the same space and time, right? So if you think of past success, as I said, not necessarily in relation to public speaking or singing or whatever it is, just something you're so happy about, all right? Think of the past so that your mind is in a positive mood. Then you think of the future. Now I'm in a good mood. I'm happy. I caught a big fish and I'm full of, whatever it is. Now I'm going out there and kill them, and there I'm standing. So you have that mindset you got to do. And if you prepare that, it'll be good. And finally, remember, people first primarily is interested in your message. Focus on your message. Don't keep on thinking about yourself. Is my hair in place, or my glasses is dropping, things like that. Just focus on your message. Right? Remember, I said that you start from wanting to give a speech of the message which you feel very strongly about. Focus on that. The rest is not important because you have a mission. You have a mission to deliver that message, and so focus on that. So that will help you to calm you down. Right? And so now it is showtime, and you go out there and kill them. And finally, the X factor is this: if you happen to win, remember you are a winner in a particular contest, in a particular place, a particular time. You are not the king of the universe. So don't get into your head. I mean, I come across some people who won some contest and they get totally unbearable after that, because they're you are just, you have won a particular contest. And I listened to a speech by a friend of mine who became a friend of mine later on. He won the world championship about 2014 or something, can't remember. And he is from Sri Lanka. And his name is Dhananjaya. And he said something quite fantastic, He said, when I won the speech contest, I was on top of the world. People invited him to speak in that. Then he realized, I thought I climbed to the top of the mountain and there's no other mountain higher than this mountain. And when he got to the top, he realized that you are at one of the mountains in the world. You're not the king. You're not the emperor of the universe. You happen to excel at the moment. So really humble enough to accept that. The second thing is this: if you do not win, as I said, that sometimes your heart is broken. Don't go crazy. I come across people going crazy and then they want to cut the wrist and they go do it. Or don't be like the French who played the Argentinian in the World Cup. They lost and then they run a petition of 200,000 people want to replay the World Cup and all this nonsense. You took part and you lost. It's okay, right? That's it. Don't do something silly. Now, the reason is this: when you take part in a contest, all right, you are like a goalkeeper trying to save a penalty. If you look at the football, you see the goalkeeper save the penalty. Sometimes the goalkeeper saves the penalty. Sometimes they look absolutely stupid because they jump to the left, the ball went to the right. Right? What is the reason for that? I know this because I used to be a goalkeeper in my young days. Is this the goalkeeper standing in front of the goal in penalty? There's about is it 12 yards or 12 meters? I can't remember now. The time reaction for the goalkeeper to jump is shorter than the time the ball travels from the penalty spot to the back of the net. So they cannot wait until you contact the ball to move, right? So the goalkeeper have already made up the mind which side he's going to jump. He studied the kicker before that. He has made sometimes he got it right. You see? So he saved. Sometimes he looks stupid because he jumped. So you enter a contest is the same. You think the judge like a particular style, a particular speech. You are like the goalkeeper. You make that decision. You craft your speech and everything along that line. Sometimes they didn't agree with you. You can't help it. That's why sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Right? One final thing, therefore, is this. So I've said all that and how tough is it to be a contestant and you can get your heart broken and all this thing. The final thing is this. Now we end with this short story. This is story. Some of you may recognize this picture, and those of you who are Chinese head background, that is the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, right? And that is his master, Tang Zhen, right? Now, the myth of Sun Wukong, and those of you who are from the Hindu background thing is that there's a similar one in the Hindu mythology is Hanuman. Hanuman is the monkey god, right? And the Chinese is Sun Wukong, right? Now, what was the thing about Sun Wukong? The great thing about Sun Wukong is this. He was, of course, a fantastic god. They call it a monkey god. He can fly. He can do all kinds of things, right? Then he did something wrong and he was imprisoned. But for his repentance, he has to accompany and escort the Tang Zhen, who is the monk, to India from China to collect the Buddhist scroll, right? And the journey from China to India those days was really tough. They have to go through they have to suffer winter, summer, burning the desert. I've been to one of these places in Xinjiang. They call it a fire mountain, all kinds of things. And then there were demons and ogres wanting to eat them. And his job is to protect the master and go through this. Right? And halfway through, he got really fed up with this journey. It's so tough. So he said to the master, he said, Master, you know that I'm the super god. I mean, I'm the super monkey god. I can fly, I can do all kinds of things. Why do we have to trudge all the way from China to India? Huh? So why don't you climb on my back? And I will jump and then take us to India straight away. And the master said, Monkey, is it? You, after listening to all my preaching and scripture for so many years, you still did not learn the lesson. Right? The mission is the journey. The journey is the mission. Think about it. The mission is the journey. The journey is the mission. So you guys who take part in the speech contest, prepare whatever it is, get your heart broken, and they said, what is it? In other words, even though you may not win, you have won, all right? Because you have defeated the biggest competitor. You have defeated your former self. Because in this journey of going through the preparation and all this you transform yourself. So the myth of the monkey is like that. He transformed himself through the journey. So that when he arrived in India and he got the scroll, and the ending was he looked at the river which is passing by, the water flowing by. He saw his body there. And the master said, you see, that was your body. You has been transformed into a real God. So it's the same with you guys. You will go through all this tough thing, wanting to be a contestant and trying and run the risk of having your heart broken. And then you lose. And you say it's a waste of time. No, you have changed. You may not know it. You have changed. You've gone through this fire. You have changed. All right. You are now the winner against the most competitive competitor. Is your older self. So I wish you all best of luck and take the journey. and transform yourself. Don't wait. Don't think of only the cup as your trophy. Your trophy is your own transformation. With that, thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you, Dunstan. Truly amazing story with so many messages, so many learning points. My goodness. You take my breath away, Dunstan.
Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoy myself. I really learned a lot. It's not only the information you share with us, it's the way you share with us is a big learning experience in itself. I really appreciate that, and really glad I recorded this session. I'm going to put it on YouTube so that those who couldn't make it today, they can learn. Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
there is a lot to learn. A lot
Thank
to
you.
learn. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now I'll open the floor for some. I know some of you will have questions to ask Dunstan because there's so much. It was so absorbing. There are many things on my mind as well. Who want to start? Maybe I start with the first question, Dunstan.
Yeah.
You have gone through a lot. You've taken part in a lot of contests. You have won, you have lost, and you lost and you have won, and you went up to many different levels. Now tell me, what difference did it really make to your life?
Well, okay, just for the record, actually, for 4 years, I was crazy about contests. Sometimes after a while, you don't, 4 years, and I won every damn thing in that 4 years, right? I won the humorous speech contest. I won the impromptu, the hot topic, you call it. I won the storytelling and all those kind of things, right? So 4 years that I had enough. And what have I learned is this? What I have learned is that I think you learn to be a bit more humble. You realize that there's a time when you thought that you are the top of the world, and there's always somebody who comes behind and who beat you. This is why when I met Dhananjaya, he said something was perfectly right. He said that you reach the top, you think you're the top. Actually, there are a lot more mountains, and so you begin to realize your place in the world. You're just somebody, right? And that is one thing. The second thing is this, which I learned most, is this. And the story I tell you about Sun Wukong, I feel very strongly about it. It did change me, And then when I took part, right, and then when I go through the journey of either success or failure, I knew it changed me. It changed my outlook, and I'm very grateful. And that is the main thing I learned from that. Yeah. And I hope I answer the question, Banpei.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's true. It changed you. The mission is the journey is really the mission.
Yes.
And the journey is what changes a person. That is a great takeaway for me as well.
Thank you.
Peter.
Who's Peter?
Peter from Bintulu.
Yes,
Peter.
hello. Yeah, hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yes,
Peter.
can hear you,
Peter. Yeah. So good to really listen to what Dunstan has got to share. I think it's a wonderful learning, and at the same time, I think through all the sharing that I got from Dunstan, and I think the takeaway message is how to be authentic in our presentation. And my question to this Dunstan is, how are we going to be able to really create that kind of impact through storytelling? You mentioned about story, right? Sometimes when we want to share, and how to make sure that the impact really is the takeaway message to the audience. Dunstan?
Yes. Yeah. You're talking about storytelling. I mean, it's same with other deliveries. The question is this. Remember, I said the three things. I mean, I said it so quickly, but maybe you didn't pick it up, right? Challenge the mind. All right. So whatever you say, people say, "Wow, I've never thought about that." Challenge them, right? Then the second one, of course, is the question of touch the heart. and you have to be able to be authentic in the sense that you say something. Let's say you tell a story, and you must feel the story. I'll talk about that in a minute. Is this to tell a story the same as speeches and stories, all right? Is you have to be in the story. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying here. Is this, and this is quite advanced for a lot of people. Some of you may have heard of this thing called the shamanic journey. The shamanic journey, and I think Brian is from America, isn't it? America, the First Nation, the Native American, they have this shaman, and they can take you on a journey, right? In your mind, the journey, the shamanic journey. So when you are speaking or telling a story, you are not telling a story or speaking. You are going through a journey, right? Which is you're speaking. You are there, you have to be there. And you are inviting the audience to be with you. You're holding their hand, walking. You understand? This is a very subtle concept. It's not that I'm standing on stage and telling you, I am in the story. And I'm saying, look, join me in this. I mean, my voice will come through, my intensity will come through because I'm in the story, or I'm in my speech. Yeah. So that is something which you have to learn, and you have to feel it. And because I'm a storyteller, I always say, so I would suggest, if you are Chinese educated, you go and read the story of this, the Chinese called the Pa Xian, the 8 gods, all right? Pa Xian Guo Hai, don't know, are you Chinese 8? All right? And then inside the nine gods, right? There's one guy called Tie Guai Li, right? And all the other gods are kind of beautiful people, but this guy is a beggar, and he's I think he's lame, and he's a drunkard and all these things. And the question is this: you go and read the story. How did Tie Guai Li become a god? And this is to do with astral travel, right? That's mean when you are telling a story and give a speech, you're going through a journey, but the journey is not physical body journey. You're taking the mind of the audience. Together you walk, and if you can achieve that level, whatever you speak, it will touch them, because you are walking together with them. Sorry, it's kind of very high level, I suppose. Some people, I believe in it, because when I tell a story, I'm inside the story. I'm inviting you to be with me in the story, right? Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dunstan.
Thanks,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks, yes.
Jenna, you must invite Dunstan to Czech Republic.
Where is that? Who's Jana?
Jenna,
Oh, yeah, I can see. Yes. Yes. I run also this training on storytelling, right? And I love it, and I love telling stories. I love stories, and I think all of us should love stories. And one day we can do it for you guys, because I train the tourist guides. Tourist guide must be good storyteller because they can entertain the clients and embellish. I give you a very short one. Some of you are Mike, are you Irish or English?
German.
German, right? Okay. No, so there's no
Yeah,
Irish.
Scottish, actually.
Okay, so that's your cousin. So the Irish, I can
Nicholson.
I can say
Nicholson.
something
Yeah.
about the Irish. The Irish people who have the gift of the gap, we call it. They can speak well, and then they can really, Now, this is a story. If you go to Ireland, Ireland is a pretty kind of undeveloped place, I mean, some of the areas is just bog and green field and nothing, all right? So in that part of Ireland, so as a tourist, sometimes there's nothing. I used to go to Ireland a lot because I used to live in Britain anyway, and there's nothing there, right? But there is a place which tourists go there especially. How do you get tourists to come to a place which is kind of pretty barren and nothing, Let's get the wind and the rain and all that kind. This place is called the place where you find the Blarney Stone. ever heard of the Blarney Stone? You can search the internet later on. The Blarney Stone. And then the thing is this, if you kiss the Blarney Stone, yeah, David has kissed it before because he speaks like an Irish. And you kiss the Blarney Stone, you don't have to go through all this Agora, Toastmasters, whatever it is. Immediately you can speak, the Blarney Stone, right? So why I bring it up is this. It needs the Irish to come up with this kind of thing. I mean, in America, there's a term called bologna, right? Which is some sort of sandwich, some sort of sausage.
Bologna,
Yeah, bologna. So it's have similar thing. It's kind of bullshit, actually. So the Irish can use a story to make a kind of bullshit to become a tourist attraction. So if you go to that place, and the funny thing is this. So the tourist guide is so good in speaking, in telling stories, and people take this hours journey on the coach and go there, and he tells you the story, and then everybody lie on. You have to lie on your back because the stone has a gap underneath, right? So you have to kiss the stone from below, and then if you kiss the stone, you become a good speaker. But the way he tells it, I mean, everybody was fascinated, and they all kiss the stone from below, and you get yourself. So storytelling is very important, and we are all learning to be storytellers in public speaking like this. Yeah.
I did kiss the Blarney Stone in 1987, and then did a public speech about 6 months later and nailed it. So without any help, just from the Blarney Stone.
Yeah.
It's scary as hell. It's scary because you have to have somebody to hold your feet as you go.
Yes. It is kind of a gap underneath. And they actually have the decency put a rail there so you can actually grab hold of it. And I've guessed it so that I didn't have to go through a lot of training. No, if you believe that, you believe anything, right? Okay. One day, I mean, we can do a series of sharing. Right? I have so many. All this you can, when you have time, you can tell me, and then I will just run a short bantering like this, on different how to use voice and all these different things, which we can do. Now this sharing, and I've reached a point in my life where I just want to share whatever I have. And I think that's all I do. Okay, and are we all right?
Thank you very much, Dunstan.
Yeah,
Another big round of applause to Dunstan. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, I enjoy myself, Dunstan. I enjoy very much. I learn very much. Not only the content, the delivery, how you deliver it is so masterly, is amazing. And
we can do a session on talking about delivery skills, about voice and voice modulation and all these things. You can run the exercise yourself, and it does help. It does help, Have I said that the people who are in the acting industry, they have to go through this. I mean, and they really have to try. And like my daughter does this, and then they learn how to speak in different accent. I cannot master that. I mean, you can speak like Scottish or the Irish or whatever, Also a Czech, for example. I don't know what's a Czech accent, I mean, you can speak like a Singaporean, which is easy, right? But things like that. So you can train. You have to learn how to use your voice. So us Malaysian and Singaporean, we are pretty lazy about that. And one of the biggest problems we face is that we have difficulty in saying the short I and the long I. For example, the guest in the hotel was phoning up and said, "I want sheet, I want shit in my bed," right? So the manager said, "What do you want? You want shit in the bed? No, you shit in the toilet. No, I want shit." So of course, we never be able to accentuate the short and the long E, the E and the I, things like that. All right. Okay, we learned that one day we do a workshop, and then you can practice yourself. All right.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you,
I go and have my dinner.
Okay.
And you continue. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dunstan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Saravanan. Where are you, Doctor? Are you ready to do your presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing. I am ready now.
Okay.
And yes,
You have
while
1
all
minute.
this was okay.
You have 1 minute to introduce yourself, introduce your topic, and tell us why you want to speak on this topic. And then you got 7 minutes to present your speech. Can you
Okay.
time yourself, or do you need help?
I can time myself.
Okay. So let us welcome Dr. Saravanan to speak on the topic HGH breathwork. HGH breathwork. Saravanan. Yeah.
Hey, hello. Thank you very much for having me on board today. And I am Saravanan. I'm a naturopathic physician, and I'm also a psychotherapist. And recently, I got involved with an organization which I'm a deputy director of the Asian Quantum Information Research Center, right? And in this facility, we just published a white paper about stress and the next phase where we are doing about breath and how breath could actually help to reduce stress. And so we will have the findings and we will publish in the in one of the journals that we are now approaching to. And I've been practicing for the last 20 over years as a physician, and breathwork came in handy because it helps to relieve and restore many things. As much as I'm a physician, I'm also a spiritualist, and in the spiritual work, we do a lot of breathing exercises. And breathwork commonly that is being taught out there, it is always taught with a spiritual connotation, but I wanted to present it in a scientific way. So I call this the HGH breathwork, and I've been practicing breathwork and teaching breathwork for the last 8 years. Okay. So HGH breathwork sounds like a very technical term. But before we begin, I just want to let you know something. Do you know you cannot breathe if you are smiling? Give it a try. Okay, good. Now I know all of you all are smiling now. Very good. Okay, human growth hormones. This is the abbreviation that I use for HGH. What is so significant about the human growth hormone? Human growth hormone is the hormone that can repair, restore, and rejuvenate your body when you allow it. When you allow it, yes. And how are you going to allow it? Well, I'm going to share with you how you can create the hormone for free. Okay, you're going to create this hormone for free. People, think that, in order to create the HGH hormones, human growth hormones, you need to take some kind of supplements, or you need to change your lifestyle, or you need to take some certain foods at certain times. Nothing. All you have to do is just breathe. Okay. Now, breathing is the least appreciated by humans until we come to the end of our life, on our last days. Yeah. Do you know if you stop breathing, you die? Of course, you know that you will die if you stop breathing, right? Now, in order for the body to provide the human growth hormones, you need to create energy currency. Energy currency is called ATP. What is ATP? ATP in scientifically is known as the adenosine triphosphate, right? Adenosine triphosphate is the compound that the body uses to create energy. Okay, in order to function, in order to do anything that we need to do, we need energy. Okay, so this energy is now scientifically it is recognized and it is called ATP, and we call this the currency that the body uses to restore, repair, and rejuvenate itself. Right now, you make your ATP through food, through water, you drink, the sunlight, and information. Information also creates ATP in yourself, and frequencies and breathing. Okay. Now, for everything else besides sun, you don't need to pay any money. You can go out and stand in the sun. You will naturally create some ATP. But breathing is something that we do all the time, consciously and unconsciously. Okay, while you're asleep, you're not conscious of yourself and you're breathing. Yeah. So it is something that is naturally happening. And this breath, the breathing that you do, if you regulate it and if you understand it and you practice in a certain way, naturally you will start to create the ATP that you want and you will empower your body significantly. Okay. Now, let me share with you what kind of ATPs or how many ATPs that you create when you're breathing. Okay. Now, when you are relaxed, okay, that means you're having your own fun time and or you're relaxing by the beach or you're meditating, you naturally go into a relaxed state and you naturally create about 30 to 35 ATP per breath. Okay. Now, a human being breathes about 21,600 breaths a day. So if you make it about 22,000 breaths, yeah, there's, if you are relaxed, you're going to create a phenomenal amount of ATP in your body. Now, can we be relaxed all the time? We all talk about it. We all want to be relaxed as much as we can, but it is very, very tough. So most of the time, you know, we are relaxed only in a very minimal time in our life, but most of the time we are stressed. Okay. And when you are stressed, for every stressful breath that you take, you are creating about 10 to 5 ATP. Okay. And this is a phenomenal drop in your breath and phenomenal drop in ATP that you could use to restore your body when it drops to 10 to 5. Now, can we do something about this? Of course you can. You know, you could also even increase your ATP from 35 to or 30 to 35 to 40 to 45. How? If you can empower yourself by being conscious about all that is good about you, okay, all that is good around you and all that is good about the people around you and all the creation that is out there for you to experience. If you can have a good thought about it, your ATP would increase to 40 to 45 ATP per breath. Yeah. Now, is this possible? Well, if you put your attention and your consciousness towards this breath work, you can actually achieve this phenomenal increase in ATP, right? So some of the things that you need to avoid is watching the news. Okay, every evening they tell you good evening, and then they share all the news that they have to share, and they say and they prove to you why your evening is so good. Yeah, so you got to be very, very mindful of what you are exposing yourself to. Okay, and you can't help it because you need to listen to the news. For some of them who has got the habit of, you know, must listen to the news at least a few times a day because you want to keep abreast with what is happening in Ukraine or what is happening in Russia or what's happening in America or what's happening with the COVID situation now, right? And this will naturally increase your stress levels. Now, I would like to share with you a simple technique. And in this simple technique, you know, we're going to practice a simple way of breathing and you can immediately experience the shift. How many of you would want that? You know, raise your hand. If you would want that and you would like to experience a shift in your breathing and to feel very relaxed and calm, now, join me now and I'm going to guide you. Okay, are you ready? Good. Now, first, what you need to do is to drop your shoulders. Now, when we try to sit straight, you know, in every meditation technique, they will say erect your spine and sit straight and and ask you to breathe, and you cannot breathe deeply. Now I want you to take a deep breath, and what I want you to do is to drop your breathing, drop your shoulders. Okay, I want you to drop your shoulders, relax them, and now reduce the space between your chest and your hips. So you're going to hunch a little bit and take a deep breath. Just breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Okay, so breathe in. Okay, notice your tummy is expanding when you breathe in, and when you're breathing out, your tummy is contracting. If you have that, you're breathing the most correct way. And this breathing is going to help you. Let's practice now. Okay, so you drop your shoulders. You're going to slouch a little so that you close the gap between your chest and your hips. And take a deep breath. Let's do 10 counts. Breathe with me. And breathe out through your nostril. 1. Breathe in again. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. How do you feel now? Do you feel relief? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel calmer now? Do you notice what's happening in your brain now? Is it more calmer? Now, there are 5 types of breathing techniques that I teach in my HEH breathwork. I've just shared with you an introduction of this breathwork. Now, if you want to learn, you can always join my masterclass, and I want to thank you for joining me for this in this exercise, and also to listen to what I had to share. And thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Saravanan. Now I learned how to breathe properly, at least one method. And then I will try it again later before I go to sleep. Yeah, and then in the
Yes.
morning again. Thank you
Oh,
very
it will
much for
help you to
sharing.
sleep. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have one more person. David, are you around, David? Are you ready to present your speech?
Just as I started eating dinner. Great
Okay.
timing.
Okay,
Yes.
1 minute to introduce your topic, and then 7 minutes to present your speech. Let's welcome David Haslam speaking on Tomorrow the future is bright. The future is bright. David Haslam. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. As I said a long time earlier, my name is David Haslam, and I'm a speaker many times over. Today, I'm going to speak about the future is bright, and I'm going to speak about it in terms of a speech and how to make sure that your speech is as bright and cheerful and as good as possible. And the reason I'm an expert on this is I've delivered over 500 speeches at this point. And those stretch back to when I was 10 years old in grade school, and I did a speech on the history of spaceflight. And I've been interested in space ever since. I'm going to specifically talk past, and hopefully give you insights into the way you can launch speeches. So here we go. I've got to share my screen. Yeah, got my calling. Okay. So my future is so bright that I have to wear shades. And I can't see the screen now because I need my glasses, and these aren't prescription sunglasses. So good luck with this one. If I hit it correctly, I'll be great. Let's see. I think this is going to work. Oh, is it?
Yeah, you can see your share screen.
All right, good. Enough of the shades already. All right. Okay, my future is so bright that I've got to wear shades. Okay, first thing about a speech is you need a bright start, cheerful, energetic, everything like that. And that gets you in the mood for the rest of the speech. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's the most boring entrance to any speech you can possibly have. Everybody says it, and until you learn the tricks of the trade and how to have a more impressive and enlightening opening, this is what people stick to. But it's very ineffective, and especially in contested speeches, because you need to be different. So my challenge today was to come up with the 1 hour speech. I've been busy all day working and everything, and at about 11:30 this morning, Bang Peng sent me a message saying, David, give me a speech title. What's it going to be about? Well, I get home from work at about 5 o'clock-ish, and I read the message. Well, it's 1.5 hours to go before the actual meeting itself starts, and I haven't done anything about this request. So Bang Peng puts on the agenda talking about the future being bright. And so I think, I've got to come up with a speech about speech contests and the future being bright. And what's important about that? So that was my challenge tonight. The future is bright, and you've got to have bright speeches to win competitions. So I thought, what can I do about this? Well, I decided to use 3 things. First one, this photograph was taken today. Notice I'm wearing the same shirt, of a meeting that I had with a group of extraordinary European gentlemen every week here in Baguio. You can see me wearing my shirt right here, for anybody who doesn't know me. To my right is Gerard, who is a good friend of mine, actually. And I am 57 right now. Gerard is 83. To my left is another really good friend of mine, Ludwig, who's from Germany, and he is 84. And then this guy, who is Conrad, he is 87. So he's 30 years older than me. Well, these guys are all fairly energetic, sharp as knives, full of conversation stories. I'm trying to get them to join Agora slowly, but so far it hasn't quite worked out that way. But what makes my future so bright is the fact that Conrad is 30 years older than me, and the other 2 gentlemen are over 20 years older than me. That means in 20 to 30 years' time, I'll be like these guys, coming to restaurants once a week to have dinner with each other and have a good time and a great laugh and fun. So this fills my hope for the future with good hopes of a bright future. Back in 2006, I did what I still classify as my best ever public speech. It was in South Korea, in Seoul, So I want to imagine you all to imagine that you are South Koreans, mainly male, but some females as well, all engineers, listening to this white guy with an English accent talking about engineering technologies, XML to be specific, and what you got to deliver and what you have got to take away. So knowing this, I wanted to have an impact on the audience immediately. And one of the techniques of an opening of a speech is to grab the attention of the audience and keep it and keep rolling along with that attention that you grabbed in the first 2 or 3 minutes and keep it going. And the reason I classify this as my best ever speech is I had an audience of 1,000 South Korean engineers clapping and standing with an ovation within the first 2 minutes of my speech. It was incredible, absolutely amazing. But I did my research, and here we go. This is the exact opening of the speech. Does anybody recognize who these people are? Well, let me tell you. This is Manchester United as of 1981, their team. And in the front row, sat here, is my favorite ever Manchester United player, Lou Macari. Of all these players, only one was from outside the United Kingdom at that time. All the rest were from England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Every one of them, apart from one. This was the biggest concentration of British players in a Manchester United team in the last 50 years. Since international business has grown over the past 30 years, we now go to the team in 2006. There's only 4 players there that were born in England, Scotland, and Wales. 4. The transformation is so complete over the period of 30 years. You've gone from purely local lads becoming soccer players, football players, to an international cast of stars from around the world. And of course, you being Koreans, you might recognize this guy over here. This is Ji-sung Park. And, oh, hang on a minute. This is Ji-sung Park scoring a goal for Manchester United, no less, wearing his Manchester United outfit. At this point, moving away from my opening, at this point, I had 1,000 Koreans standing up, cheering, shouting Ji-sung Park's name at me, clapping and screaming out loud, and engineers. And you know that South Koreans are fairly serious, not quite as serious as Chinese and Japanese, but they're fairly serious. And to have this reaction in this short a time was fantastic. I was already on cloud 9, and I knew that they'd listen to the rest of my speech and probably enjoy it and carry on going. The very last slide of my show, my speech, was this slide again. And again, they all stood up, gave me a round of applause, and were yelling out his name, this, that, and the other. So you have to have an impactful, energetic, and crowd-grabbing opening if you're going to do a contested speech, because you want to be better than anybody else. And the best way to be better than anybody else is do it from the very beginning and build your speech around the opening, and then do a good conclusion, and you'll grab the audience, you'll grab the judges, and you should do very, very well. So that is how I managed to capture the hearts and minds of 1,000 Koreans in less than 2 minutes. Are there any questions with the time I have remaining? And I don't know whether my internet is still working or not either. So
Still working. We can see you. We can hear you.
good.
So good tip on how to get the audience to respond to your presentation. Thank you, David. With your idea, I think our future will be very bright, in fact. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, we have two more speakers. The next one is very important to all of us because I want all of you to take part in the speech contest. And not because you cannot afford to buy a trophy, but because the journey is the mission, is the participation, overcoming the difficulties that changes us. So let us welcome Mike Nicholson to share with us so that we know the mind of the judge. How does the judge rank the speakers? Are you ready, Mike?
Yes, I am. I'm with you. I predict I will get bounced out several times, as has happened all the way through this evening. The internet's not been kind to me. But anyway, let me proceed, and I'll do very brief, hopefully, introduction to myself, and then I'll do up to 7 minutes on what a judge is looking for in a contest and how do they decide the winners. Okay, so for those that don't know you, and I think I do probably know everybody here, I can't see who's actually still with us, but I was born German, I have a British passport, I've lived in Indonesia now for about 22 years, so I'm really a gado-gado character. I have been all over the place. I've been retired now for about 10 years and spent half of my life in the Indonesian Heritage Society and the Museum Nasional as a volunteer tour guide. And I spend the other time of my life in Agora. So it is fun. So at the moment, and let me just start my speech now. So let me do my timing. Okay, so at the moment, I am the contest coach for the Venus National English Olympics, NEO, which has been running for more than 10 years. It's an annual event. And there is also an Asian English Olympics, AEO, produced by Venus, which is going to take place in February 13 to 18. So we are running the National English Olympics at the moment. I did a 2-hour coaching session yesterday. I had about 100 slides. It was quite a chore, I think, for the audience to sit through it. But there is a lot of information for contestants. They want information that
Oh, you are back. You are back. Okay.
they want to, yeah, the contestants want to know as much as they can. They want to win, obviously. So we are now doing the actual judging until Friday. So I spent all day today judging a 5 to 7 minute speech. The things that the judges are basically trying to do, obviously, is pick a winner for the contest. Who is the best? And we look at the best 3 contestants. At the contest, and that's the function of the judges. What the contestants, however, want, obviously, they want to be the first placed winner, but they also want coaching. They want feedback. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that always comes up in the debriefing session is, please, Mr. Judge, can you tell me how I personally did? And when you've got 40 to 80 contestants, that is not quite so easy. So I avoid it. I think somebody's got their button on the eject function. But anyway, so yeah, so the contestants want one thing, the judges are trying to do something. They're called judges, they're not called coaches. Yeah, so again, we need to look at that. And basically, how does a judge judge? They try and do it fairly, obviously, you know, even if they know the contestants, have heard the contestants, even if they don't know them in the past, they try not to take that into account. So they're really judging what they're seeing today at that judging session. And to assist their performance, we use technology. Really good. It's giving me practice in breathing in between. So what the judges have to help them basically is an Excel spreadsheet. And there is a tabulation of points to be awarded, minimum and maximum. And basically for the contest we're running at the moment, there are three main areas, one performance, one technical, and the third one is story. So for performance, there are three categories: general, general appearance, how do they present themselves, and they can get a maximum of 10 points, 10 out of 100. And then the second area is gestures. So they're using body language. Can we actually see their body? I mean, I'm just using my head at the moment. It's so big, it fills the screen. No chance to get my body, which is even bigger. But, are they using gestures? Are they articulating themselves? And then the last one is stagecraft. Are they using the space available to them? So these are three things that we give a score. For gestures and stage, we use 15 maximum points. They're 15 out of 100. And then the second area is technical. 3 areas, each with 10-point maximum. One is fluency, clarity of the speech, the pronunciation and their grammar. And the last one is vocal. How can we hear? Are they delivering it at a good pace? Are they rushing through it? It's an easy tell. Easy tell when somebody is reading a speech, they get faster and faster. So it's not from the heart and it is difficult to follow. And people switch out. So don't read your speech. It is really off-putting. For the pace, the space, and as Duncan said, there is a lot of value from pacing yourself, having gaps. Don't just talk and keep talking for 7 minutes. People's ears will fall off. They will not listen to you for 7 minutes. So put some pace into it. Put some pauses in. Is the story. And again, Duncan said, we're all storytellers. It doesn't really matter what type of speech you're giving. We want to add a story in there. It makes it more interesting. People like stories, don't we? We all love stories. So in the story section, 2 elements. One is flow, which gets 15, and the other one is speech itself. Is it attractive? Do people want to listen to it? So they each have 15. And what the judge is doing is she listens to the overall speech. During that time, there are some things you can pick up and score quite easily. Are they easy to listen to? Yeah, is their grammar good? Normally pretty obvious. So there are some scores you can do during the speech, but then really at the end, you have 1 minute, only 1 minute, yeah, to get your scores down onto the form which is being monitored in the back room by others. So using that technology work that we're given, we're all of the judges trying to reach a, not consensus, but it's an average. So we're doing our own evaluation. We're not conforming. We're not conniving. We're not connecting. We're not discussing it with the other judges. So it's an individual judge's opinion today. And judging is very subjective. I've been a chief judge many times. The advantage of being chief judge is you see every judge's scores. And sometimes I've been absolutely so the same performance, you might evaluate a video today and give it one set of scores. You might evaluate that same video 2 weeks' time and judge it in a different way. It's the way you feel on the day. So there's nothing hard and fast, and that
There is one thing hard and fast: bad technology, bad internet.
being a judge and juggling many balls in the air. So I understand now, David, how you are having problems with the Philippines and the internet there. I was having better performance when I was an offshore island here in Indonesia on Bangka. Now that I'm back in Jakarta, it's today anyway, it's been really bad. So judging, very subjective. You do the best you can. You are fair. You try and treat everybody the same. You try and pay attention. You try and stay away. Worth bearing in mind if you're organizing a speech contest is the number of judges. The more judges you have, the better the average. If you only rely on one person, it's very, very, very subjective. Rely on two, it's
Mike, we cannot hear you, Mike.
yeah, if you can, because that really gives you a fair result. But it's not always a possible solution. Yeah, have lots of judges. But my recommendation is become a judge. It's a good experience. We need judges, and it is something that you learn from. I've learned so much by being a judge. Yeah, it makes you listen. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. We really need to focus. And the more I do it, the easier it becomes. I remember when I first judged, I was confused like hell. It was really difficult to do. But when you have done it as often as I have, and I've been judging Venus now for more than 10 years. Yeah, I've been judging for, I don't know, maybe up to 20 years. But it is good fun. You enjoy it. So although it may sound and feel novel, strange, you may be nervous, yeah, get over that nervousness. Add this as a extra facet to your character, to your ability. So I'll stop there before I get bounced out of the internet again, and look forward to more people. Yeah, at the next meeting, we are going to focus on the August 23 to 27 AgoraCon. It's our 7th anniversary, and it will be hosted in Indonesia. This is we plan anyway, this will be the last virtual conference, AgoraCon, we do. The plan for 2024 is to do this face-to-face. AgoraCon, the first one we did was live in Portugal. We then had 2 years of nothing. We were waiting whether the COVID problem would disappear in 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think anybody in the beginning had a vision of 3 years, and we're still not out of the woods here in Indonesia. But we plan 24 to be a real live AgoraCon somewhere. So start saving money now, because obviously you need to spend money to fly there. But put August 24, 5, 6, and 7 in your diary. It's going to be Singapore time, 9 in the evening, until the wee hours, until 1 o'clock. We'll have a 4-hour AgoraCon on 4 nights. There will be one type of speech contest on each of those 4 days, 4 nights. And there will be other things going on, keynote speakers, obviously lots of information about Indonesia and how good it is to live here. And we will add some food, some culinary photos. You won't get the food, but at least you'll be able to see what it looks like when you come and visit. So anyway, let me finish there and hand back to Bampang. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mike. I will need you back to present the judges' mind at another session, because got a number of parts.
No problem.
Yes, got a number of parts. We couldn't hear you, so I want to record a fuller session with you. Brian, Brian, we are running out of time.
To do that.
Brian, yeah, we are running out of time. I think if you don't mind, we will skip your presentation this time, but I want you to present another time on the learning experience, because you have been through the journey of contesting at different levels, and you have also have experience as a judge. I think your input will be quite invaluable to the contestant. But this time, number one, the audience is not so many people, and number two, of course, we are running out of time. We are supposed to end about 5 minutes ago. So if you don't mind, we save your speaking slot for the next session.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, thank you very much.
More than, I would say, 500 contests in Toastmasters.
500?
Yeah, more than that. In 1 week, when I was district governor, in 1 week, I judged 7 contests in a single week. Yeah, so yeah, I have been to quite a few of them. Yeah,
Mike, we will invite Brian and Syed and maybe Stanley or David to be judges, because these people have ability and experience as well. And those who without the experience as a judge, you can train them. Okay, yeah, David, that's on. You either be a contestant or be a judge. Play an active role, then we can benefit better.
Contestant, please. You know, I sat through the contest. I missed 1 contest this past year of AgoraCon, but I was very, very impressed by the sense of community in the contests. which I never ever got in Toastmaster contests. It was all about the individuals and all about egos and everything else in Toastmasters. And to let you know, Brian, the reason I don't compete, or I've changed my mind, I'm going to compete in next year's or this year's AgoraCon. But the reason I gave up competing was I realized at a very, very early stage how biased all the judging was in Toastmasters. And the higher up you got, the more biased the judging was. And there was one point where the winner of an evaluation contest should have come fourth. But because she knew every single judge that was judging personally, she got the best marks. And that to me was disgusting. So that's when I decided not to compete with Toastmasters ever again, because it was just wrong. So I was glad to see the variety and what I felt was the accuracy of the judging. As far as I was concerned, I only got one winner. He's a very experienced public
David,
so
David,
anyway,
I want to
and
stop you
as I
there,
said,
David.
it was good, very good, the Agora.
David, I want to stop you there because I want to share my own observation. You may feel some contest judges are biased. Sometimes we are all biased. It's not only those contest judges, right? And sometimes we do it unknowingly. So we do not want to like blame them because we are naturally biased, right? Experts are also biased. So number two is, of course, there are ways to overcome this natural problem. It's a natural problem. So the way would be to have a well-balanced set of judges, because lady judges will allocate points on different bases from men judges, right? And a highly educated judge will judge differently from someone who has less education, right? And then a young person will judge a speaker differently from a mature person like you and I, for example. So these are natural biases which we will have to find ways to deal with it, but without being too emotional and then say we do not want to participate in the contest because of this bias. I think that is not a good way to go forward.
Yeah, actually, when I was district chief judge, I did consciously have an Excel sheet actually to balance out the judges by sex, gender, race, all kinds of factors I can think of. So I could have a pool of 20, 25 judges representing pretty much the whole spectrum of the district. But that was just me. And I understand some people would take the easy route, and I've seen so many times in my district, they just basically call their friends and guess how their friend look like or act like compared to the chief judge, him or herself. They're picking the same people. Because it's easy and lazy to do that, but if we do it properly, then yes, that should be good. But I think one of the Toastmasters world champion, maybe Ed Tate or somebody, or I can't remember who said that, but this champion said that if you are so good, it doesn't really matter which position you speak or which judges you have, because if you are so good, if you are so much better than everybody on the stage that day, then you have to win that.
I agree, absolutely. You got to be really good. If you are just borderline, then hoping for good luck or the judges favor you, then it's no use. Yeah, thank you very much. I share your feeling. Amiga Fabiana, you have not spoken a single word. Can you say something to us?
I enjoyed the
Spanish.
meeting.
You can speak in
I
Spanish.
enjoy the meeting.
You enjoy.
I
Thank
can
you
speak
very
in
much.
Spanish.
You can.
Ok, participaré más seguido en las reuniones. No entendí bien el horario, por eso me he demorado. pero me ha gustado mucho la reunión, cómo se van interactuando, son parecidas a nuestras reuniones en castellano, en español, pero muy lindo.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias. Gracias mucho. And now Syed will interpret for us.
Thank you very much. That was totally French enlightening for me. No, nothing
Yes.
more.
That's Argentinian, Spanish, Espanol. I love Espanol.
Sorry, I unfortunately I know nothing about it.
I try to translate. I'm very happy with the meeting, and I will participate in the future because I was studying and I have degree. I have the I don't know a professor of law.
Wow.
I have time now.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm very
So-
impressed. You are highly trained, highly qualified, and you got a lot of knowledge to share. So it's the right person to take part in the contest. Yeah.
Thank you.
There is speech contest in Spanish as well. You can take part in the Spanish speech contest. Are you with the Spanish Agora club?
Yeah, I am president in the first club in Argentina, Agora Córdoba, and participate in Ecuador, Quito, Ecuador, in USA, Maryland, and El Salvador.
Excellent.
Hey guys, I got to go now.
Okay, I think we are about time for all of us to go. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think I enjoyed myself thoroughly, especially Dunstan's presentation was amazing. I think he's really very good in content and in delivery. Thank you, David, as well, for your future is bright, and Syed for sharing. And Fabiana, one day I come to Argentina, I will dance tango with you. You want to do that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Good night. Good evening.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.